Hi, I wanted to touch a little bit on the cage system and bring up a topic that maybe no one's presented to you or you hadn't thought of. But the cage system, there's a lot of information out there. Basically, 5 chord shapes: C, A, G, E, and D, that can be played up and down the neck in various positions for different chords. For instance, there's your cowboy C chord. Here's a A shape of that same C chord. Here's a G shape of that same C chord. Here's an E shape of that same C chord. And here's a D shape of that same C chord. So I'm not going to get it. There's a lot of information out there about those you can look into. But the point I want to drive home here is that each of these caged chords have roots on at least 2 of the strings. Some of them have 3. For instance, C has got it on, there's C note on the 5 and the 2 string. The A, the 5 and the 3 string. The G, the 6, 3 and 1 string. The E, the 6, the 4 and the 1. And the D, the 4 and the 2. If you don't know those, when you're learning these shapes, pay particular attention to where the strings, what strings have the root notes, because what I'm going to show you next it'll help. So if I picked a random scale here, if I wanted to play a scale at this position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I wanted to play a 1, 4, 5 chord progression, I could pick this note as my 1 note, and I can look at what string it's on. It's on string 4, and there's 2 chords, cage chords that have a root on string 4. One is the E shape, and one is the D shape. So I could pick either one of those chords to be my 1 chord. I switch over here to the 4 chord. It's on the 3rd string. So I know that if I use my G shape, that would work. Or if I use my A shape, that would work. And if you notice, the 2 chords are next to each other in the word caged, C-A-G-E-D. This is the A shape, or I could use the G shape for that 4 chord. Again, for the 5 chord, same thing. It's on the same 3rd string, so I could pick either one of those either one of those shapes to use. So this applies to everywhere, with the exception of way down here or way up here, because you don't have any real estate to do it. But if you're picking this note, it's on the 3rd string. You've got your choice of chords that you can use from cage that have a root on the 3rd string. If you're on the 6th string, you've got your E shape, you've got your G shape. Both the same chord, different fingerings, different voicings, give you maybe a little different sound, obviously different fingering, which may be easier or harder with which one you choose. But in addition to that, there are 5 caged pentatonic patterns, the C, A, G, E, and D. And those are fantastic to learn, because if you're using an A-shaped chord in this position, your A-shaped pentatonic is going to work over it. If you're using your G shape in that position, your G-shaped pentatonic is going to play over that beautifully, and give you a nice sound. You'll be able to play up and down the neck, because again, those caged pentatonic patterns go in order. If you start at C, A, G, E, D, all 5 of those patterns, you can play up and down the neck. So there's a little bit of work involved here to get to this point, to be able to use all this information. But a good starting point is just learning those 5 chords and the root notes in which they're on, and then how to finger them up the neck by using the bars. So get your guitar set up nice and low if you have an acoustic, and you can work on those a lot easier that way. All right, good luck, and hopefully that gave somebody some ideas maybe they didn't have in the past. Have a good day.